So with that, we'll call this meeting to order. Can you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And with that, I need adoption of the agenda and consent agenda as the order of business with identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion or separate action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Moving to item 4, consider approval of the consent agenda as adopted. Approve minutes from the September 21st, 2021 Board of Education meeting. Approve financial report for the period July 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2021. And approve bills for the period September 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2021 in the amount of $2,687,667.84.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Consent agenda adopted. Board District Leadership Team Strategic Planning. Dan Mella, legislative update.
Yes, we met on Monday with our legislators, and we talked about a number of different topics. One topic that they were interested in getting some feedback about was the financial literacy bill that had passed a few years back, and about what the districts had done to address what became a requirement of schools to teach more financial literacy in the schools. At the time, some of the districts around us and us were kind of models for what we were doing with financial literacy. We have personal finance, we have economics, we have junior achievement. There's a number of things that we were doing, and so we kind of fed back along with the other districts in the county about the good work that we had already been doing prior to the legislation. And so it was kind of just a revisiting of that issue for them. Another topic that is continuing, and Amy talked about it in her presentation, is the fact that there is a 0% revenue limit increase this year, and it presents, as you saw, an operational deficit that will be moving forward and won't change in the next year either, compared to what we're being given from the revenue limit side of things. Those ESSER funds are available to smooth out some of those issues, but the sum total is still the same. The expenses will go back to this year's number out in the future unless the legislature does something with that revenue limit. And so we're going to continue to advocate for that, and I would recommend that if you are concerned about that, that you advocate for it as well, and talk with your legislators about the impending drop-off in funding that's coming in a few years, and how that might impact the quality of offerings and programs at schools. And that's not just us, that's everybody in our county and everybody in our state. Except for the private schools, currently they've been getting increases and on a regular basis in their voucher funding operation. And so that is, but it's kind of a different pot, because 100% of the voucher school funding comes from local taxpayers. Unlike the school district, you saw the state aid and the local levy is whatever it is this year, 50 something and 30 something. Well, for private school voucher funding, that $543,000 is 100% paid for by our local citizens in this district. So that's a little bit different as well. We spoke as a group also about Assembly Bill 411, which is a bill on anti-racism and some other words to describe it. But the local superintendents came out strongly against that bill, not because of, we're against that, what the bill title was, but because it flies in the face of what all of our local industries are trying to do by attracting a diverse workforce and building equity and inclusion in their workplaces. Most local employers have a equity and inclusion officer, some of the bigger companies anyway, trying to make sure that this is a great place to come and live and work, and that people are feeling accepted when they come here, and all of those things. And this bill explicitly calls out teaching about equity or inclusion, or even saying the words. Somebody could sue a district for $15,000 that would come off of our revenue limit if, I don't know, somehow this thing passed. And it is a bill that the governor has already said he will veto, but we just were advocating that we don't need to be having this bill being floated out there, because it seems to be a bill that is just intended to incite anger or fear. And so that's what we were coming at with the legislators, and we talked about that with them. And I think we, at the end, didn't come to any resolution, but for sure they understood that all the superintendents in Sheboygan County were resolute that is not a bill that will be helpful for our communities or our schools. And that is my legislative update.
Thanks, Dan.
Finance, building, and ground. We need to consider approval of certification of the 2021-2022 school district tax levy. Are we doing these all as individual items, or what?
Yep, this will be approval. This is a motion and
Okay,
for that levy, yes.
all right. So so this is just really approval certification. So it's just approval of what we just did in the
Correct.
annual meeting.
Right, because that meeting vote is advisory and this is the official.
Oh, this is official. All right. Learn something every day. All right, so I need a motion to approve the school district tax levy that we just approved in the annual meeting.
Make a motion to approve the school district tax levy for the 2021-2022 school year.
A second?
Motion and second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, we need to consider approval of the 2021-2022 final budget.
I move that we approve the 2021-2022 final budget.
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? And now we need to consider and approve the deeding of Orchard Lane located at Riverview Middle School to the city of Plymouth.
Yes,
I saw the map.
yes. So 4 pages from where you are right now, there's a map that shows you what Orchard Lane is described as. There's also a little nub Orchard Lane that comes off right there and goes to the west, but that's not the one we're talking about. It's described in the city as Orchard Lane, and it's the south side of the Riverview Circle, and it's in that hashed area there. And so I spent some time with Jeff Tauschik and a few other members of the police department looking at the traffic patterns around Riverview. It seems that more and more people at all of our schools are driving their kids, and it's been an ongoing change, I think, over the years. But it may be now that the majority of people are actually getting dropped off rather than taking the bus. So it's creating traffic headaches at Riverview. And so I was asking, is there a way that we could make that a two-way street, and so that when people were leaving, so they're heading south on Smith Street, they could, instead of going only straight and going right to that stop sign and then causing the big backup that happens, that could they have an automatic go along what's now become known, I didn't know it at the time, is Orchard Lane, heading back towards the youth center and simply out North Street. and then there isn't even a stop there, and you can get traffic moving a little bit better. But so we asked if we could do that, and we found out that that is actually our space. And so in order to make that change in traffic pattern and have it be marked and signed and all the rest of it, we would need to deed that back to the PD, or back to the city, and then the city and the police department would take care of changing the traffic flow and marking that area and all of the rest of it. So, also the city would take care of plowing that area. So, that is the question, that's the issue, is we believe that it would decrease some of the traffic problems at Riverview. It won't eliminate them, because there's just too many people are dropping kids off at school there. But it should help. And so, in order to make the change, we would have to have approval that it would be okay for us to ask our legal team to draw up the deed to the transfer of deeding of that property. So, that's the point for you to discuss. Do you think we should do it? Do you think we shouldn't? And if you think we should, just approve our entering into deeding it over to the city.
Who's been plowing that section?
We have. Well, sometimes the city does come through if they're rolling through and they're gonna do it, but they usually just do a one swath, go around and come back. They won't do a full sweep of it, and then we clean it up. We always do the whole thing when it's just a light snowy day.
Does anybody see any drawbacks for us to, if we would deed it over to the city?
I'm not understanding, what's happening now?
It's a one-way.
It's a one-way, I'm sorry.
The other way?
Yes,
Okay.
it's only,
Yeah.
can go,
You can
Oh.
only go
you only can go west.
this
Into-
way.
Okay, makes more sense now.
It's been a while since you dropped off at Riverview.
Apparently I haven't dropped a child off at Riverview, or I drove the wrong way down.
I mean, I think for efficiency, as long as, obviously the city and the police department are gonna stagger it in such a way that it'll have the appropriate stop signage or yield or whatever. I think it makes a lot of sense just to create that flow better. So at this point, don't foresee anything being worse outside of retraining the public on what type of road it is, which could be a challenge. But
Does this have any impact to the residents that are along that street, or not?
There is only one resident along
Oh.
that street that has a access point there.
Okay,
And we've had a discussion, Officer Tauschik and I have had a discussion about that particular spot, and it is not a problem that,
they
we
now
would-
have
we
a
would change
choice
the
when they
road.
back out of their driveway. Okay. All right. So really, we should have a motion to approve if we should, and at this point, it's to consult with legal counsel, or is it? It's
yeah,
actually-
to consult legal counsel to deed it to the city.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
To draw up the paperwork.
To
deed
drop
it.
the paperwork.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So do the police, do they monitor it right now currently? I've never really seen anybody.
They did for a couple of days this year, and anyway, not often, but they did a couple days this year, and that's partly why we did kind of discover, nobody was sure who owned that, or who was responsible. Everybody thought it was the city's, and so it was being monitored and patrolled by the police as it was the city's. So I guess that really wasn't appropriate at the time that was happening.
I think it would be better if the presence was there a little bit more, especially.
Yeah.
It can get chaotic over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I make a motion that we would approve the deeding of Orchard Lane at Riverview to, from the school to the city.
And I second the motion.
Motion and second. Is there any more discussion?
Is there any kind of liability that comes off of our hands then? I guess we didn't really know about it. responsibility would have fallen on us.
Yeah.
We could have, and, right. We still own the rest of the circle, though.
Right.
Yeah. So about
That's where all
1/3
the
of.
kids are up by the buses, those
Yeah.
buses down there, so. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? All right. Consider approval of the snowplow bid for the 2021-2022 school year. Amy?
Yeah, so
Take
we
it.
recommend the approval for CNS Construction. They were the only bidder, but it was also the same rate, same services as the last 3, 4, 5 years.
All right. Motion?
I make a motion to approve the snowplow bid for this upcoming school year.
Second?
Motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, item number 7, policy. Consider approval of the first reading of the Neola Policy Updates, Volume 30, Number 2.
Yes, we discussed this at the committee of the whole, and once I was corrected in my box checking mistakes, the correct information got through, and I think our questions were pretty much answered at that time, so it's really just needing a motion and a second on that.
So is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the old policy as written.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, first reading is approved. Period of public participation, recognize those who may wish to address who may wish to address the board regarding items not on our agenda.
I
Katrina?
have John Binder here.
All right, John, come on.
Where does X mark the spot for talking?
I think anywhere down here
Right in
in
this
this kind of
area.
line where you get close to the microphone.
I'm going to take my mask off, but you got to promise not to tell my wife. She's not here tonight, but she said that if I'm inside, she's very anal about the COVID. And I think it is because we've been married for 51 years and she wants me around for another 51. Before I talk about what I want to talk about, I just want to show my appreciation for what the superintendent said about continue to improve the environment for our young people. And then the president also made the comment about sustainability, expanding what sustainability means. And also finally talked about, keeping communications open with the district. And that's basically why I'm here tonight. I want to introduce you to a group that I'm involved in. It's called the Plymouth Environmental Action Team, PEAT. And our group, that green flyer that's going around, gives you an idea of what we're all about, what our mission is. And we have about 60 members. We have a Facebook page if you want to check us out. Also contact information on there if you want to get in touch with me to ask questions and so on. That's available. And then we also have 2 very active committees, a pesticide-free committee and a climate change committee, which I'm a member of that committee. What we've been doing, we do have a weekly email that we send out to all our members, keeping them up to date on the different kinds of environmental activities that are going on, especially in Sheboygan County, and the kind of things we can do to hopefully make some kind of impact by either participating or joining with those kinds of activities. One of the things that I know we've had some initial contact with the district already. Our pesticide committee has met with some of the officials here in the school district, and I've had some communications with Bob about climate change and the possibility of having more extensive communication about what we're all about, what our concerns are, what our issues are. And we do have some solutions, suggested ideas, resources that might be made available to help us accomplish the mission that you see in front of you on that green sheet. And Bob, what I really appreciate, Bob suggested that maybe our first contact to do that kind of thing would be with the facilities committee. And both of our committees are excited about that. And he suggested maybe one time do it with the pesticide-free committee and another time with our climate change committee. We would share topics ahead of time to give the members of that committee an idea of what we're going to come and talk about. And hopefully we can just move on from there and identify some of the kinds of things we have concerns about and work with the district on accomplishing those. So my only purpose here tonight is to let you know that we exist, what we're all about, and hopefully we can do what Bob mentioned, continue open communications with the kind of concerns that we do have. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much.
We're looking forward to when
Yes,
November dates will be workable.
we'll dialogue,
All right.
all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In that, is that it for public participation?
That is it.
All right. Board liaison reports, community education. Sally?
In community ed, they do have many classes available for the community to participate in. The fitness classes, we actually have pickleball, rock climbing, yoga. We have swim classes. Also, if you don't want to get out, but you still want to exercise, we have a virtual workout that you can follow somebody online and work out with them. They have started a free movie series, just had one last week, earlier last week it was, and they are held at in the high school auditorium. And that's it. Go on to the district website, look up community ed and see all the other classes that are available for you to sign up on.
All right. Thank you, Sally.
You're welcome.
Foundation, my report, the foundation, we had our fundraiser for grants during the week of homecoming. And for the first time out of the box, I think it was successful. There was no live event. It was all virtual. We had a silent auction. We had corporate sponsor the event, the online event. The auction went across 4 days, I believe, October. It was partway into the week and through the weekend, and I missed out on my last bid on Monday morning. But there were also penny wars that the grade schools participated in, and actually raised a lot of money. So thanks to the grade schools, they did a great job with the penny wars. But all told, we raised about $43,000, which will go toward grants. And just a reminder, these grants are the mini grants that we hear about that are often listed here, as well as the larger grants. But they really do a lot to encourage the staff to come up with creative ideas so we can improve the learning environment for students. So thank you to everyone in the community that participated with our silent auction. Thank you to the corporations that helped sponsor. And thank you to all the kids at the grade schools for their efforts in the penny wars. It's just going to make for a great grant year this coming year. So that's the report of the foundation. Family Resource Center, Dan.
Yeah, so I'll just go through a few events that the Family Resource Center has coming up on October 21st and 22nd, which is a Thursday and Friday. They'll do their development screening. So those are for youth from 6 months to 5 years. If you could call 920-892-6706 to register, and those screening days are free. They also have Tummy Time Together. That's kind of an interactive, it's virtual as well, to help kind of babies learn like large and small motor skills. The date there is November 16th. It's a charge of $5 per family. They're starting up the Little Movers Play Group. That's for children 2 to 4 years of age. The play groups are there to kind of stimulate learning and develop motor skills and encourage more social interactions. The first one will be first Wednesday of the month, already starting October 6th. Again, that's a free activity. The next one is Bring Your Own Baby. It's a class that involves 0 to 2-year-olds to learn with early childhood specialists. It's actually hosted above and beyond's Toddler Barnyard, and that gets together every third Monday of the month, and that's a charge of $5 per family. So please come and enjoy those events. That's it.
Thanks, Dan. Personnel, support staff update. Dan?
Yes. We've got some change, no action required on these, just some changes in our support staff. So we have hired, Jessica Neitzel has been hired as a special education aide at Riverview Middle School. Rebecca Moser has been hired as a special education aide at Riverview Middle School. Julie Miller has been hired as a special education aide at Fairview Elementary. Christina Jankus has been hired as a special education aide at Horizon Elementary School. Jennifer Baker has been hired as a custodian at Plymouth High School. Tyler Martin has been hired as a custodian at Plymouth High School. And Jennifer Borkenhagen has resigned as a custodian at Plymouth High School. And Paula Gatsky has resigned as a special education aide at Parkview Elementary. Those are all the updates.
No action on those things. Nothing for item 11. That moves us to President's report. That would be me. So I'm going to talk about October a little bit and some of the surprises that October has ushered in for me personally. It was early in October that all of a sudden we started getting emails of appreciation for board members. One of the creative writing classes, the students sent us some really nice letters, both from parents and from other community members. We received these letters of appreciation, and I was wondering, well, what's going on? Then find out that it was Wisconsin School Board Appreciation Week. And I thought, well, that's really nice. And so I want to say thank you to everyone that wrote a letter. It was nice to hear. We've had some crazy times along the way. Nice to get those positive accolades. And then I found out that October 2nd was actually National Custodian Day. And you think about it, they only get a day. All the work the custodians have done in our school system should have been a week, it should have been a month recognition, but they got a day. And again, for any of the custodians, thank you very much. You've really helped with COVID mitigation in our school system. Our schools and facilities are beautiful, and it's because of the hard work of our custodians. So you deserve more than a day, but October 2nd was their day. And this whole October thing got me to thinking, and I started looking, and well, October 11th is Indigenous Peoples' Day. We all kind of know that, but there are other things going on in October, and I was just, well, what's going on with October? And then I saw in the newspaper the other day that October 15th was National Cheese Nugget Day, and Culver's has a special sandwich. So I looked up and what's going on with October? And you wouldn't believe it, but every single day in October, there are national recognition, local recognition, all kinds of recognition, multiple things on multiple days. One of my favorites was October 10th is Squid and Cuttlefish Day. The whole month is dedicated to apples and caramel, which seems appropriate. So with all this appreciation, I figured, well, you know what? It feels good to be appreciated. So I'm going to do my own shout out of appreciation. And I'd like today to be COVID Mitigation Day. And I want to thank anyone who got a vaccination, who wore a mask, or did something to socially distance and help mitigate the COVID pandemic. Our school system has been successful because of your selfless effort to put yourself aside and do something for the greater good. And for that, I want to say thank you. You're appreciated, and today is a day to celebrate the efforts to make COVID go away in this district once and for all. So to take the words of the character Ted Lasso, I appreciate you.
It's one of our favorite shows.
All right,
All right, thanks,
Yes, the
Bob.
you're
memo.
welcome.
So we actually have a quote of the day that Dina puts out every day from the Ted Lasso show.
Okay.
Comes to us by a text every day. They're always,
They're always great
inspirational.
quotes, yeah.
So my superintendent report, I spoke earlier, but I just wanted to mention these meetings and the important work of the school board and the district comes together because of a few very important people. And they're here tonight, and it's Amy, Dina, Ann, and Katrina put in a ton of work to make sure that the information that you need, the budgets that we see, the communications and the connections that we have, our special services that surround everything that we do and do take up a lot of time. These people do a lot of work and they do an excellent job, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. You're greatly appreciated. But I didn't bring you any apples or cider. Some upcoming events. Well, first of all, we have the upcoming events are the playoff series. So we've had a very successful season for our sports activities, and I'll just kind of read off where we are with those. And if you get a chance, this is the time of year where you can go and see some great games in the fall leaves and maybe have a cookout. The kids do. Boys soccer is the ECC conference champion and will begin their WIA regional playoffs this Thursday on October 21st. And they're home because they're good. The football team won the third consecutive conference championship and will begin the WIA playoffs on Friday, October 22nd. That's at home as well. Girls tennis won the conference championship and have wrapped up their playoffs for the year. The girls cross country team won the conference championship and the boys finished second. And that was a great jump for them to get up to second because that was not predicted and they really ran well on that day. So that was really great. They both will run in sectionals on Saturday at Kiel. The volleyball team is currently playing their first regional game across the hall in the gym. Well, maybe not yet, shortly. And the swim team will have their conference meet this weekend and will be hosting the WIAA sectional on Saturday, November 6th. A lot of kids do a lot of great things and learn a lot of wonderful lessons in our extracurriculars. And so if you get a chance, go out and see them. That's it.
Great. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion a second. I'll say yes.
Yes.
Or else opposed? We're out of here.
Say yes.
All say
You cannot
yes.
oppose.
There is no opposing in here.